This video looks at how to get started with Backroll Kiteloops. This was all filmed in light wind, around 17 knots, as light wind is safest for learning this trick. The earlier you loop the kite, the more it will kick. So, to get started, try doing the loop very late, even after you've landed. Basically, you do a normal, small back roll, then loop after landing. Let's walk through that first training step. Bring the kite to 12 slowly, enough for a very small jump. Just before the kite hits 12, carve upwind to create a normal backroll rotation, then pull the bar to launch. While airborne, park the kite near 12, don't steer. As you land and you're comfortably facing the kite, you can then throw the loop. Use maximum steering speed and try to complete the loop in the least time. Keep steering until the kite aims straight up towards 12. While the kite loops, ride towards it to mitigate its power. If the wind is light and you steer very firmly, you shouldn't accelerate aggressively. Once you're comfortable with that, gradually loop the kite earlier. Start looping the kite as soon as you land. Then loop the kite just before landing. Eventually, you can start the loop during the first half of the backroll's rotation. That will give you much more of a kick, even in light wind. Let's look at that earlier loop version. This uses the same kite control as a small jump with a quick full loop. Let's look more closely. It's important to keep a very firm upwind edge all the way through takeoff. This keeps line tension high, and that helps the kite get around the loop much faster. Raise the kite to 12 fairly slowly. The quicker you raise the kite, the higher you'll jump. We now need far less backroll rotation on takeoff, so as the kite's hitting 12, carve only slightly upwind, then pull in the bar to launch. As you launch, briefly park the kite at 12, then steer fully with the backhand to start the loop. The loop will now pull hard while you're facing upwind, which means the increased line tension will rapidly turn your body to face back downwind. Tense and contract your body towards the harness to prepare for the acceleration. Keep steering hard until the loop is complete and the kite aims straight up towards 12. If you're still in the air at that point, push out the bar to help the kite climb overhead. Keep the bar in as you land. On landing, aim the board almost fully downwind. Steer the kite to stop it flying upwind of you. Once the kite's power dissipates, turn crosswind to ride away. Let's review that riding the other way. Firm upwind edge. Medium speed. Raise the kite to 12 fairly slowly. Launch a small back roll, but with much less rotation than normal. Park the kite briefly. Use maximum backhand steering for a tight kite loop. Compact and tense your body. Complete the full kite loop. If still airborne, depower the kite to help it fly faster. Keep the bar in on landing. Ride towards the kite until its power drops. Steer the kite to the side to stop it flying onto your upwind side. Once the kite's power dissipates, turn crosswind to ride away. It's safest to start with low back rolls. You then have less distance to fall if you make a mistake with the loop. When you're getting the kite around the loop quickly and reliably, you can then add a little more height to your jump. This was filmed in 17 knots or so with a 12-meter kite. I'd recommend starting in around 15 knots of wind, as that reduces the potential acceleration and chance of injury. It's easy to over-rotate when you start looping earlier. You hardly need to rotate halfway round because once you're facing upwind, the force from the loop will then whip you around the rest of the back roll. You can see here that not much back roll rotation was used, but the rider still starts to over-rotate. In this case, the rider just about manages to slow the rotation by extending away from the axis of rotation and depowering the kite to drop faster. None of which is ideal as it places more strain on the body. You can't really watch the kite during a backroll kite loop. So ideally, you want lots of practice at getting the kite around a full, quick loop during only a small jump. You even want to reach the point that you can do this mostly by feeling and without needing to watch the kite. So I'd recommend working on that before backroll kite loops. And of course, you should also be very experienced with normal back rolls. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps you get started with backroll kite loops.